Hi everyone, Lucy here again. I've been asked by a couple of people to break down some of the differences in some of the postures. In particular, today we're going to look at a couple of the warrior postures, Virabhadrasana I and II. So each of these postures, we start at the top of the mat with the feet spread out, tailbone gently tucked under, drawing the belly button in, rolling the shoulders back and down. I like to bring my hands into prayer at the heart to give me something to focus on and something to do with my arms. And take a breath in, and as we exhale, we're going to take a big step back with the right foot. We always start on the right side. Okay. For both of these warrior positions, we're going to turn the back toes in towards 45 degrees. And we're going to turn the front toes straight ahead. So I always also like to refer to the short edge of the mat and the long edge of the mat, because sometimes that's easier depending on which way you're facing the camera. So whichever posture we're doing, that's our foot position. The heels can be roughly in line with each other. You might want to bring this foot back a bit so the heel's in line with the arch of the foot. It's entirely up to you what's comfortable for your feet. I wouldn't dictate where you want to put those. It's whatever suits your anatomy better. Okay, let's start with Warrior One. The biggest difference between the two postures is which way your hips turn. In Warrior One, we're going to square the hips with the short edge of the mat. So the hips are pointing forwards, they're pointing in the same direction as our front foot. And from here, we're going to bend the knee deeply, again towards a 90-degree angle. Now, my toes have disappeared, I can't see my toenails anymore, so that says my stance is too short. So I need to lengthen my stance. Bend back into it, that's great, I can still see my toenails now. The next thing to look at is whether your knee is tracking in the same direction as your toes. And if you find that your knee's tracking in a little bit and your toes are going straight ahead, then turn your toes ever so slightly as well. And that reduces any pressure on the knee in an undue direction. So we've got our feet right, we've got our knee right, we can see our toes. This leg's at a 90-degree angle. We're going to make sure then that the spine is long. We don't want to be leaning forwards over this leg. We don't particularly want to be leaning back. We want to be nice and tall. The spine's vertical, the crown of the head's drawing up towards the ceiling. We're going to roll the shoulders back. We're going to make sure that the shoulders are pointing in the same direction as the hips, pointing in the same direction as the front foot. Then as we inhale, we're going to sweep the arms up. Biceps are by the ears. Relax the shoulders down away from the ears. We don't want to shrug them up around the head. Relax them away from the ears. Depending on what style you're practicing, you might want to bring the hands together if the shoulders will allow, but pointing the fingertips up nice and wide feels really good. Reaching up as you ground down through both feet. The outside edge of your back foot, in this case my right one, is doing just as much work as my front foot. They're both bearing equal weight, taking equal action. And then if it feels good, we can take the gaze up to the top hands. For Virabhadrasana I. Okay, relaxing the hands back down, let's have a look at Warrior Two. So we're coming from the same position. Again, checking those toes, checking that the knees tracking in the same direction. We're going to turn the hips this time. We're going to open the hips towards the long edge of the mat. So you should really be able to see that rotation. So we're opening them to the long edge of the mat. Resync that front knee. You'll feel the external rotation in this thigh. You might feel it a little bit more down the inside of this leg as we come into Warrior Two. Hands are in prayer at the heart. Take a breath in. As we exhale, we're going to float the arms wide. Again, relax those shoulders away from the ears. And we're taking the gaze down the front hand. It's nice to perhaps take a look down the back arm to make sure we're not too wonky or anything's bent. Keep a slight bend of the elbows. If you've got funny elbows like me and you tend to bend the other way a little bit. And take the gaze down that front hand for Warrior Two. Lovely. To come out, we're going to step to the front of the mat, and then obviously we're going to repeat the other side. Just a quick note on the difference now between Virabhadrasana I, Warrior One, and a high lunge. Biggest difference there is your foot position. So if we were coming into a high lunge instead of Warrior One, we're taking a big step back again with this back foot, but we're keeping both feet pointing to the same direction and we're staying high on these back toes. Again, you might need to lengthen your stance, still bending deeply into that front knee, pushing the heel away from us, reaching the arms up and taking the gaze with us if we feel comfortable with it. So again, hips are pointing forwards, shoulders are pointing forwards, but the difference is this leg is not rotated out, and the foot isn't at a 45-degree angle. So from high lunge to warrior one, looks like that. I hope that helps. Hope that makes a little bit of sense. Let me know if there's any other postures you'd like me to have a look at, anything else you want me to talk through, break down, and I hope to see you on the mat again soon. See you later.